And with the count, you are not centered. You are so far from
I can
centered.
move though. I just need to see it.
No, I got it. I can take care of it. Hello,
Oh wait,
everyone.
hold
How are you?
on.
Wait, Meg's centering herself. 1 second. How?
What is the center? The bench.
Should I just take care of it?
Nope, I got it.
Okay, but you're also too low now.
I just had to find it on the screen what I needed to be centered on.
Okay, but you are too low, so we're gonna lift you up.
I
I'm gonna
can
lift you
up.
up. I'm gonna be the wind beneath your
I
wings.
sat up, Alex.
Okay.
Does that work?
Yeah, it's great. I didn't do anything. I didn't change a thing.
You did. There's still a black bar at the bottom.
Not anymore, there isn't. Anyways, hello everyone. How's it all going? Meg needs a high chair or a high chair. Those are two different things. John Frosty, evening in the UK. It's 5 hours ahead, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. This is afternoon, you're right. I don't know why I said it's morning. It's morning for like people on the Pacific West Coast or whatever it is. Is that where we are?
It's because the thing still says the weekly morning show.
You know what?
And I was gonna make you a new one that just says the weekly live show.
And take
but
that
I just
Devin
haven't
logo
yet.
off, okay? He's not part of Board Game Co. anymore. We hate
I
it.
was gonna make it so it's clickable. Like I was gonna give you the video with no logos, and then have you be able to do the eyeball thing to put the logos on.
Yep. The eyeball thing makes
As
sense
images.
to me, not necessarily to everyone watching.
I think a lot of people know what I mean.
The eyeball thing.
Like,
It's image overlays.
yeah.
You're just choosing which thing
Yeah.
gets shown. If you've worked with Photoshop, you know the deal.
View on, view
on.
off, view on, view off.
This is the weekly afternoon show that is sometimes weekly, often has me in it, almost always has me in it. I don't know. Have we done one without me? Have we
I
done
think there was one. I think I ran the show once with Devin.
Why would I trust any of you to do that?
I know. I think it's when you went to Poland and you were gone for like multiple weeks.
That would make sense. I do not believe I
Thanks.
can up my volume. 1 second. Why is it low? I'm using the Yeti mic. Give me 1 second. Let me just
Just
go.
turn me down, and they can all turn their volume
I
up.
But let me just check one thing. Is Alex quiet compared to Meg? No, George, it's not you. Even before the thing started, I mentioned it. But as usual, we were running late, so there is
No.
Okay, Yeti microphone. Let's find my Yeti microphone.
Well, Alex fixes this. Do you guys want to know what I rewatched today? You all should watch this after this live stream because it's a perfect video. But the lip sync battle between Zendaya and Tom Holland.
That's the one.
It still holds up. It is so
Yep.
good. Oh, it's so good.
Also, my volume is improved now. I fixed
It on the home screen.
For whatever reason, my Facebook feed for the past week, maybe it's because of the, not the Oscars, they had Grammys, what did they have recently? They had something recently. Emmys, they had the Emmys.
I think it was the Emmys.
Maybe because of the Emmys, but for whatever reason, my Facebook feed has decided that the only thing it wants to show me is Zendaya and Tom Holland. Like, that's...
Ooh.
It's all over the place. Everything's like Zendaya, Tom Holland. Look at them. Look at they reflect. Oh, Tom Holland talks about how he likes to watch his old Spider-Man videos to reflect on how they met and fell in love. Like, it's all the stuff. It's like, it's cute, right? It's cute. You have all these things, and like, maybe because this is the nature of the Facebook algorithm, I probably paused on one of those clips one time because I thought it was interesting, and Facebook's like, we're going to show you more of this. Anyways, now that we've talked about Tom Holland and Zendaya...
Or even people you're friends with are clicking on it, blah, blah, blah,
Dear
blah,
Lord,
blah,
I hope
algorithm.
That means I'm causing my friends to get it more.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyways, with that, this is going to be a weekly live show. It's going to be a slightly Q&A format compared to the ones I normally do on my own, but with Meg this time. So, as usual,
Hello.
chat us up. I switch to live chat. Chat as much as you want. Ask whatever questions you want, and we'll go ahead and engage with chat. But past that, we're just going to talk about our top 100. This is like the past several live streams. We are shifting. I'm shifting more to a model where my Q&As are not a generic Q&A. They're Q&A, but I'll also just throw on whatever I want as the topic of conversation, and then from there,
Strive to not be generic, Alex.
I try to be generic as possible. But in this case, we're going to talk about our top 100 to an extent. Now, there will be a full top 100 analysis video. I don't know exactly when. I would imagine sometime in the next 2 to 3 weeks, I will be doing a full deep dive into the top 100. I've done this several times over the years, where I just basically take a look at the top 100. I talk about the games that dropped out, the games that showed up. I talk about the biggest changes. I'll be talking about some interesting stats. Like, for example, someone asked me a question about the highest aggregate scores across the past 4 years. Meaning if something was like, 1, 4 years ago, and then it was 17, and then it was 4, and then it was 25, you average out their score, and you just sort the highest averages across the past 4 years, which I think is a fun conversation. It's also a little tricky, because the nature of a weighted scale that makes it very complicated is a game that would be 101 one year and 100 the next year goes from no ranking at all to in the top 100. So it's a little tricky. It's not perfect.
It's also 100, so it's not like that's prestigious.
Yeah, but, well, I mean, a top 100 games is prestigious. It is
mean,
it is.
sure, but
Yeah, but anyways, there'll be a
go
lot of
from
fun
101
things.
to 102 being a 10, whatever. I can't say it now.
Anyways, we will have
Blah, blah, blah,
things
blah.
like that. I will be talking about the games. I'll be talking about the 30 or so games that have been in my top 100 for 4 years straight that have not left my top 100. I'll be doing all the analytics of all kinds on my numbers. Not just mine, though, because
I don't have numbers.
you don't have enough numbers. If you do your top 100...
I haven't. Well, yeah, and I would have to go back and so like even a lot of my lists I like hand wrote. So I would have to go back and go through the videos and record like everything that I had in my list. So I don't know, maybe I'll just start like a better system going forward in 2024. But something else that you and I talked about, Alex, is tracking plays and stats. And it's something that I downloaded BG Stats like 2 years ago. And I tried using it a little bit, didn't really work. And then the start of this year, I tried logging it. I think I logged like 17 plays in the first few days. And then I haven't touched it since. And you guys, I play a lot of games. I play a lot of games. So I don't know how to go back and fix this at this point.
Fun fact, Meg.
Already.
Did you know, Meg, that I just found this out like a week or two ago? You can connect your BGA to automatically import to BG Stats.
Oh.
Although, it does count
I have
24
two
plays.
accounts.
It does count 24 plays of My City as one play, which is egregious.
Right.
So there is that.
Right.
But anyways, or you could just log, 1,500 plays in a single bulk session. Anyways, top 100. Let's go through this to a degree. There were some interesting surprises in the top 20 games of all time. For me, I think the 2 games that surprised me the most on your end, because I'll start with the questions, because why not? The 2 things that surprised me the most for me, Meg.
Uh-oh, Alex, do freezy for me.
Darn it. Oh, that's interesting. You're totally fine. Has your internet been fixed and mine been messed up now?
I don't know, but you just froze a little bit for me, and then the YouTube froze. But the Discord kind of cut I didn't hear what you were saying.
This might be my new internet.
Hello, Pariah.
It's a problem. If there are any streaming issues or anything like that, please let me know, because I did subscribe to a new internet, and if it's not good enough for live streams, then I'm going back to the old one. Oh, I hate it. I'm switching back.
And
I'm
we'll
switching back.
badmouth those guys.
I'm switching back. This is terrible. This is terrible. I am... Yeah, anyways, we're going to go ahead and switch back to my old internet now, because I do not like this one bit. Anyways, so, here's the basic details. So, whatchamacallit. So, the 2 games, Meg, that surprised me the most in your top 100, in your top 20, can you guess what they are?
Yes. Isla and Mythic Mischief.
You are good. I mean, then again, I was there for the reactions, so...
You said I'm really surprised.
That is fair. But, yeah, so Isla and Something Shiny and the Mythic Mischief, and I knew you liked Mythic Mischief. You're talking about how... Oh, dear lord. The buffering isn't just me. This is not good. We are switching.
Do you want to do a quick reset and restart?
Restart what?
At like 1:30?
I don't know what that means. No, there's not much I can do. It's my internet. My internet has issues. My internet has issues.
I'm saying... Okay, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know how bad it is. Let me see. This is not great. We may have to just cancel this, but, yeah. Let me see what happens here. I'm getting all the buffering too. Without it was me, because you just give me issues. This is not good. This is my internet issue. We may call it entirely if it is consistently still bad, because we may call it. Let me see. Meg looking more clear than that's surprising to me. Yeah. So it's working for me right now. Is it working right now? Because I'm not sure. Looking better. Okay, we'll try for right now. We'll try continuing to go. If it does have issues, we'll call it, because I think I need to go back to my old internet. This is something I knew might be an issue, for whatever it's worth.
I mean, at least you found out quickly.
Oh, I mean, it's such a huge pain. It was like hours of my life gone. Anyways, so basically, here's where we go. I'm saying Alex uploads speed is small, which is why it's buffering so hard. He's uploading at H2 stream, which is probably maxing out the upload limit. Yeah, this is not.
Are you uploading anything else right now?
Am I uploading anything else? No. Anyways, so basically, Island Something Shiny, I had someone comment on my review that they're like, oh my gosh, I gave it a 3.5 out of 5. I liked aspects of it, but like the ending kind of fell flat for me, and I did think it was much lighter. And the person's like, you're talking about mechanics, it's a work of art, like how could you talk about mechanics and lightness? It's like, it's a story, that's like critiquing, like, and I gave a whole like thing about it. But my point is not to make fun of it, my point is, he clearly was very passionate about how strongly the game affected him. And that's that's a testament to the game, and obviously the way it affected you. And I saw someone just the other day on Facebook who was commenting how he's like, on the one hand, I swore that I was not going to back any games this year. On the other hand, here's a game that looks like Isla, and I swore I would get anything that looks like Isla. So what do I do? And like, people obviously are very impassioned about the game, which I get.
I mean, here's the thing, right? And this is a conversation that I didn't know this was going to spark what I'm about to say, but you guys, as the audience of Board Game Co., know Alex. You know his tastes. He is not sentimental. Any games that are sentimental, if that is the hook, it will rank lower based on your own personal tastes, because your channel is your own opinion channel, and it's not anything objective where objective? Yeah, where you're looking at things saying like, okay, well, how would I look at these things and score them based on certain criteria? You're putting all of your own experience into it. So I think that for certain games like that, I think that's just why it's so clear between reviewer to reviewer, you know, why there are so many differences, because our personality changes what we think about all these things and what it matters to us. So I think for people that are super sentimental about stuff, especially like over on Instagram for me, they are the same kind of people. They appreciate the things that I post because I really like how the story made me feel in those moments where I was like really, you know, in it. So I think that for you, your audience looks to you for mechanics and how strong the game is and how much it will hold up, and even things that you talk about like Kickstarters and value and the different things that it can do. So I think that that's just the major difference to know, is that when Alex is reviewing a game and giving it a certain score, if it is a game that's meant to give you a emotional experience, that just may not be something that would score a certain way for Alex.
So I don't disagree with you to a large extent.
Flamecraft!
I
No!
need to go ahead and message Jenna. 1 second.
Why are we calling Flamecraft?
Oh, I'll tell you why. I don't know what his reason is, but I asked Jenna at one point on one of our live streams. I asked Jenna, what is a game that you know you should get rid of, but you don't? And she said probably Flamecraft, and she might get rid of it when Critter Kitchen arrives. Call Flamecraft.
Yeah, so Pariah said, yet loves For Northward even despite the cutesy aspect. I think Alex likes cutesy. Alex, some cutesy things will get Alex. There's that robot game. What's the robot game? Where you're building them?
No. Oh my gosh, Raising Robots.
So cute. Yes, Raising Robots. Like, you were charmed by that, by the robots. So Alex likes cutesy. He doesn't like sentimental. If the story is giving you something where it's like, the lesson was what we learned along the way, that's not good enough. So it is very specific, I guess, for Alex, but he does like cutesy. He loves Everdell.
So I'll give a few things there. One is I do like cutesy, number one. Two is, while I generally am not that sentimental, I think I am more sentimental than people necessarily think. So, for example, I think that one of the things interesting about Isla is the fact that the ending... What? Buffering? Buffering?
Yeah. No, I heard you, though.
Oh, one of the things that's interesting about Isla is that the ending actually bothered me. Meaning it actually made my opinion worse of the game. The slap in the face.
And for me, I was like, the slaps.
Oh, it slapped. It slapped.
Oh, I loved it. Because here's the thing, guys, and we're going to get into Isla a little bit. If you want to, I'm going to be as spoiler-free as possible. But there are multiple different endings. And the ending that you get may not be what you wanted. It's what the story gives you, and it's what happened along the way, but you might personally might not want that at the end. And I think that that's another difference between us, Alex, that I love games like that. I've talked about Gloomhaven and how it forces you through certain encounters and doing things to your characters you don't even want to do. And I like that it's making you play the story of Gloomhaven, not your own personal story. So we were Isla, we were in her shoes, and we played through what would have been her experience. It wasn't us, it was always Isla. And I think that that's very similar. I think I started off really well with this because I started with Arkham Horror. My first game was Arkham Horror, and we lost a lot. And to me, I was so charmed that we played through the story of Arkham Horror, and that we were these investigators, and we found each other, and they were like, I'm going to go run to the police station. All right, I'm going to go to the Twilight Lodge. I'll be back in a minute. And, you know, doing all these different things, closing gates. And we died anyway, and the thing came and crushed us. And I still just love everything that happened. So I think that it definitely takes a certain kind of player to enjoy letting the story happen to you, as opposed to always feeling accomplished.
So I don't mind losing, and I do enjoy different kinds of endings. It's hard to get into this too much, like into spoilers, so I'm trying to be a little vague. But ultimately, for me, the way Isla handled it, I felt was a slap in the face, and not in a good way. Just in a, I felt it was a slap in the face personally. But past that, I will say that, what was the other thought I had? There's Isla. There's something else. Oh, I was gonna say Robin Hood. So if you recall, I've talked about how in Robin Hood, there was a point in Robin Hood where the game makes you make a choice. And the choice, when I was engaging in that game, the choice of the game effectively was, do you do the thing that is obviously going to drive your story forward mechanically, but it involves being mean to these fictional characters, or are you nice to the fictional characters in a way that holds you back? And the way the game presented itself, I chose to be nice to the fictional characters. I was sentimentally pulled in. Meaning, I do agree that my instinct, my default, is more mechanically driven, less sentimentally driven. But I think there is room for me to be sentimentally pulled, and I have games and moments that have made me feel things to a degree where it does impact my enjoyment, my experience, and all that. And in the case of Isla, for whatever reason, I think Isla did an excellent job in terms of the way they crafted the experience mechanically to give you a narrative experience. But I just don't think I felt that strong narrative pull from the game. I feel it was like, go do stuff, collect things, go to the next section, collect things. I didn't get a strong... I think like the one moment that may have sentimentally tugged at my heartstrings is this one moment in one of the first chapters where like Isla finds a friend, and like that felt a little more sentimentally driven. Everything else to me didn't actually feel sentimentally driven. I felt it was very sentimentally light and mechanically driven in a way that I appreciate the mechanics while feeling it was light. I love Jenna's comment. I would have been a 5 if she had powers and abilities. She does have powers and abilities, Jenna. She does. One of the best things about the game is the fact that you don't actually get to experience all those powers and abilities. So if you want to dive back in and be able to utilize different tools or spells, you do have to play it again. So I did enjoy that. I did enjoy that aspect. I just thought I think it's my feelings about Isla are actually similar to my feelings about Challengers, which is, I think it's a very, very, very cool thing that, to me, the current implementation still needs work for it to really hook me, but I did like what it did. Again, it's a 3.5. I definitely enjoyed it. I just don't feel the need to play through it again, past playing through the 6 games, the tutorial plus 5 chapters.
But if you guys are interested in seeing more, I'm going to be streaming it because I enjoyed it so much.
Yep.
For the people that mentioned behind my shoulder, this is a mess, and I'm so sorry, and none of this should be here right now, all of these games behind me. But the table that I have back there is the table that I made myself. It was a cafe table. I reupholstered and made it into a game table, and it is all lit up. And there's just a tapestry behind it. Okay. There's just stuff falling, honestly.
Anyways, past that, what's it called? Past that. Oh, so that's Isla. So Mythic Mischief, though. Let's talk about Mythic Mischief. That was high for you.
It was. I really, really enjoyed Mythic Mischief. I was surprised. So I did Pub Meeple again. I did the ranking thing. And I was surprised how high it fell. But when I looked at my list, I was like, yeah, it's there. I think that I really enjoy games that you can reset and play quickly. And I am very competitive. So for me, there are some games that I can lose and not want to keep playing multiple times in a row. I'm fine losing, but I might not be like, okay, again. And this feels very much like chess, where you can just continuously play. And the characters, like the houses are all very unique, but they're very similar as well. Like, everyone has a move action, but the move action is different for everyone as well. And things like that. So, I've had a lot of fun with, similar to something like Dice Throne, which I also really enjoy. I really enjoy when you have a game where you can take just multiple different factions and throw it into the same rules and play it. Yeah,
I like Mythic Mischief a lot. It's very, very high for me. My biggest problem with it right now is that because they have the app, I find myself wanting to play it more, but not wanting to ruin my experience playing with other people. So it's been a very weird balance, as I kind of have to mentally choose, do I lean into playing with friends, or do I lean into playing the app so I can play it more? And I don't have a firm answer right now, because I do think that if I continue to play with strangers on the internet, I will escalate past the point where it's fun to play with friends because I just know it too well, which has happened to me in like 1 or 2 other games. Like Galaxy Trucker is a game that I ruined playing with other people because I played on the app all the time, and then I play with other people and I destroyed them to the point that at one point I was actually bet that oh yeah, really so good, let's do a film playthrough. And there's a film playthrough of me playing Galaxy Trucker where I completely demolished the other people. They gave up halfway through the game. Like, it's not that I'm that good, it's just that they didn't play it on the app 700 times and I did. So that kind of changes the experience. You guys, we have an announcement to make for the Board Game Code channel. What's the announcement to make for the Board Game Code channel? I have no idea it's coming. Alex has finally beaten me for the first time ever
at one of the My City World games.
It's My City, My Island,
My
Roll and
City
Write.
on BGA and the Roll and Write multiple times. My Island we haven't finished yet ever, so that one doesn't count.
But you're currently ahead.
But we've played the Roll and Write 3 times, and My City I want to say like twice, all on BGA.
I think I'm in the middle of a third game with Gray right now.
Oh, right.
Which you're
So, I've won every single one, because I'm very good at these games. These types. I'm very good at polyomino. Like, I love cartographers. And Alex finally beat me by 2 points. We finished the 12-episode, like, campaign of it. It was 300 to 302.
The best part is because I know how much it would
still
bother
upset.
you. Because I know how much it would bother you. Like, 3 games ago, I said, I want to beat you by 1 point.
Yeah.
And I beat you by 2, so not perfect. Anyways, but yeah, what's it called? Yeah, Mythic Mischief is a game that I thoroughly enjoy, and I'm worried about which way to lean into because of that. But anyways, those are my 2 surprises, Meg. What are your 2 surprises? Or what are your surprises in general?
Oh gosh, I don't know. You didn't tell me to prepare anything.
True.
I feel like I have no memory of your list. Give me
I
a
can
second.
tell you right now. I can tell you right now. I'll just rattle through my top 20 in order. Okay, ready? Going from
Are you
20,
starting at 20 though?
I'm starting at 20, going down to 1. Unsettled, Expeditions, The Witcher Old World, Codenames, Coimbra, Paris, La Cité de Mayor.
Codenames is something that I think it does deserve it, but I was surprised that one's just such an oldie that, I don't know.
I consistently, year after year after year, I play Codenames. Let me pull up my app over here, because if you count all the iterations of Codenames, I mean, again, that's true of Alto games. If I go to All Plays, nope, I go to Insights for all time, Codenames just consistently is one of the most played games, year after year.
Give me the last 6 months.
Okay, well, I can't do last 6 months. Actually, I could do custom. Okay, custom of Codenames?
Yeah.
You want the last 6 months of Codenames. So let's go to, July. I'm just going to do July through the end of the year. Okay, so July through the end of the year. Okay, great. Done. There's no games played. Why is there no games played? Because I did July through January. That won't work. Okay. Weirdly enough, July through January does not work. Sremy! I'm excited.
I don't think.
Okay. So, we're going through apps loading over here. Let's see what we got. We have Codenames Duet with 25 plays in the last 6 months. And that's, by the way, my my 5th most played game in the last 6 months is Codenames Duet. And then, where's Codenames? Codenames only 6 plays. So between the two, we have 31 plays, and 31 plays would make it my 3rd most played game. Mythic Mischief is my most played.
I want to do stats so bad. Ticket to Ride is mine, and I don't want to talk about it.
You don't? You don't want to tell people how much you play Ticket to Ride?
You guys, how about, okay, chat? Let's put in chat, how many games do you want to guess that I've played to Ticket to Ride in total on BGA?
Let me say this. I played 2,200 games last year, which people were very impressed by. Meg played more.
This is going to be so embarrassing. I don't track them, you guys, and I need to start tracking them.
Sugar Circuit is counting BGA, or it would be just beyond crazy.
This is only BGA. So, this is an account that no one knows about, because it's only for Ticket to Ride. It was created on February 6th, 2023, so not even a year old. Let me know how many games you guys think I've played of Ticket to Ride. And I gotta put it up, because I think I have played a few other games on here that aren't Ticket to Ride, so I have to get my stats.
Brian says, be careful, Alex. Devin quit Board Game Co. after losing the first time in a live stream game. Don't anger the wiki. But anyways, while people put their guesses in, so a few things. So, George, first of all, Vindication is amazing. My desire to play it does not change. It consistently gets higher. I think that's a big thing for me, and I got flack this year, but, and I got flack because of Gloomhaven not being my top 100. I have a whole video coming around the nature of how I view the top 100.
Mariah, I am. Can you see that so tiny back there? I am.
But effectively,
Sorry,
Yeah, the Gloomhaven. Oh, sorry, I lost my train of thought. Gloomhaven. Oh, yeah. So I often will enjoy games, and then they go up and down as I play them more, as I play them less, as I don't play them for years, as I come back to them. Games do shift around, but Vindication has consistently held up. Games like Cyclades have consistently held up. Kemet used to be my top 20 and dropped. I think how games change over time is an interesting reflection on the person and the game. But Vindication just holds up consistently. Someone else's question, I think Stacy asked, just because a game gets played more doesn't make it a great game. And my answer is a firm no, an absolute firm no. But there's certainly an overlap with those two categories. A game that gets played a lot.
Ticket to Ride is not in my top lists. Is everyone ready for the answer? And I think Cricket?
Yes.
Sugar Cricket said, how many do I usually play when I'm in the tournaments? I do Arena 2-player. And again, this is a private one that no one will find this, so you can't find me. I've played 1,418 games of Ticket to Ride in the past 11 months.
That's specifically on one secret account.
On that account.
Yeah.
And if you want total plays on that account, it's 1,722.
Yeah, and that's just this year alone. So
Right,
anyways,
and because I got BGA literally last year. It was a problem. Now I'll go into my regular account and see, because I think I made it around the same time.
but yeah, so Stacy, so
I made
finishing
this,
off that.
sorry. Can I just say this real quick, Alex? I made this June 5th, 2022, and I've played 1,116 games on that account. So I play a lot more Ticket to Ride, but that's still like 3,000 games in the past 18 months.
So
only on BGA.
So that means like that's too much Ticket to Ride, which I don't disagree with. But one of the things I actually really like, I'd say BGA, Ticket to Ride is not a game I need to own. But BGA, it does make me appreciate Ticket to Ride more because you can knock out a game in like 8 minutes. It's like, it's a little insane.
Yeah.
But yeah, but going back to the playing a lot. So there are many games. Let me actually go through like my list over here and just talk about this. So for example, we have, let's see, Nana has 23 plays in the past 6 months, and honestly, most of those in the past week, right? In the past month, I think. And it's not a top 100 game for me. I really enjoy it. We have, let's see,
what one?
Nana. Trailblazers happens to be in my top 10 most... Not Trailblazers, sorry. Turing Machine. Turing Machine, because Trailblazers I do like. Turing Machine is one of my most played games. It's in my top 10 most played games for the past 6 months. And it's a game I barely like. It's a 3.5, but I happen to just get a lot of plays in here and there. I played it a bunch of times in person, and then on BGA. There's not a single time where you could suggest Codenames, and I'm like, oh, no, I'm not interested. I love it. I love Codenames.
Yeah.
The only option is whether I might want to suggest So Clover instead, or maybe I'm not in the mood for a party game and I want to play something else, but like, I will always...
9 hours of So Clover.
I will do 9 hours of So Clover. I will do it. I think Codenames is incredibly fun and rewarding and consistently variable. So for me, it is a straight up win across the board. I think it's phenomenal. Like putting in number 12, like what did I put? I put 17. Anyways, going through the rest of it. So we have Codenames, Coimbra, Paris, The Quest for El Dorado, Too Many Bones, Cyclades, Lost Ruins of Arnak, Airland, and now we go to the top 10. Airland and Sea.
I forgot what you're even doing. You have to remind me that you're going back to reading your top 20 list.
I read my top 20 list. So going back, picking up on Codenames. Well, we pivoted for Codenames.
Thank you, I don't know how to say your name. Leilataj?
I don't know. You have to...
They said love your hair.
Leilataj 85. So we have Codenames, then Coimbra, Paris, Quest for El Dorado, Too Many Bones, Cyclades, Lost Ruins of Arnak. And
yeah, Quest for El Dorado, I was also surprised.
Oh, it's so good.
It's fine.
Honestly...
It's fine. I feel bad being mean to games you like, but it's fine. It's not bad.
I don't view it as
I know,
mean.
you're mean to... Let's fight it.
I don't view it as mean. I view it as just agreeing. You love Isla. That's great. I'm happy you do. I think it's okay. I think that Quest for El Dorado is interesting because, like, looking at my list objectively right now, I do agree that 14 seems high, but
yeah,
I do like it, and it's so easy to table. I don't know. I could see it going either way. I could see it going up next year. I could see it shifting.
Like for easy to table quick games, and again, I am very partial to 2-player games, but is it Lost Cities? Is the card one?
Lost Cities, yeah.
I like that better than El Dorado. I would put that higher than that. Sure.
I've appreciated Lost Cities, but for me, El Dorado is... I like deck building in general, and I like the racing element. Yeah. I am curious if you played it again, how you'd feel, because... I'm just curious. Not because you have to like it, but I'm just curious.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
And then some people have... Someone mentioned Everdell.
So a bunch of people talked about Everdell, because Everdell is it was the number 4 game of all time, and somebody there are a few comments. Some was like, which expansion have you played, or with other expansions. So I've played Everdell in a few different iterations, and it's a little bit of a hodgepodge, and it's definitely not the typical experience, because I still have not played any of the base expansions at all. Like, the original expansions I have not played.
You haven't played Pearlbrook?
I haven't played Pearlbrook, but I have played expansions.
I can... Pearlbrook's easy to
show it to me. I've read the rules for I think all of them. It's easy to add in
changes of it. It's cute.
I've read the rules for all of them, I believe. It's been a while, so I need a refresher. But like I mentally know. Also cute. For me, I've played Everdell base game. I've played Everdell Farshore. I have played Everdell with the prototype versions of Mistleaf and Mistwood and New Leaf, whatever it is. So I've played the newest ones prototype, but not fully. So I have experienced multiple facets of Everdell, but not the typical journey anyone would have. Because I'm like, I've played the alternate, I've played the base game, I've played the base game with prototype versions of some expansions, but not the original expansions. So I consistently love Everdell. Every time I play it, for whatever reason, it is consistently good. It is consistently enjoyable, and that's something I can't beat. Yeah.
Yeah. For me, I have always enjoyed it when I play it, but I always feel like that meta is so static that. And again, I usually played it 2-player, so I'm sure that is a big difference. That if you're playing 4-player, I bet the meta changes a lot more. But for me, that area just doesn't change enough.
So some of the expansions do mix that up. The new
expansions. Yeah, that's what I've heard. I've heard to try a certain one because I've done Pearlbrook and Spirecrest, and that's it.
Yeah, the new expansions I believe mix up the meta a bit more. Plus, there are house rules in general, so there is that.
Yeah, and I've done house rules before where I think is it draft in your first hand or something. Something like
I don't know, but I don't disagree with your complaint. I think your complaint is the one complaint I did have. I have to go back and watch my review. It's been a long time, but I think that's one of the main complaints I do have, that the meta can be static.
I can definitely show you the other expansions.
I'm down to play Everdell any single time ever. I love that game. There's so many great games, and like going through the top 10, we have Erlen and Sea, Inish, 4 Northwood, which that almost surprises me, but again, it's like I don't know, like it's higher than Codenames, which is interesting to me, but like that might be a Cult of the New aspect. There is definitely going to be that bias of Cult of the New, which I'm trying to be mindful of, but I just like 4 Northwood. We have Castle Burgundy. Like, I think one of the things about 4 Northwood that's interesting is I've gifted 2 copies of the game already, and I plan on ordering more to just be able to gift it to other people. I wanted to give away another copy just the other night, but I was like, I don't have any more. I have 1 copy, and the last time I gave it away, I had to wait like 3 months for Game Nerds to get another copy. So there's that.
4 Northwood, I really enjoy. I think, again, though, I don't love it as much as you do. I felt that after I did the first, like, wave through, I saw Stacy said Meg would have more time to play games with Alex if you hack and delete that TTRBJ account. Stacy, that's not my fault. Alex goes offline for an entire 25 hours every week. But what was I saying about 4 Northwood? This is me getting
distracted. You played through it once.
I played through it once, and I felt like it was like doing the challenge. I've done it a couple times, and I do enjoy the challenge of it, but I feel like for replayability, it does feel kind of samey after a certain point. Whereas the game that I felt like I compared it to in my head was Regicide, and I think that's just a better challenge.
So for me, the reason I love 4 Northwood, there's several reasons, but I think one of the things I like, because replayability is such a huge pet peeve for me. There are lots of people who are like, I will iterate upon this challenge 700 times until I get it the best possible. And for me, that's not. I want to constantly feel different. I like it when a game gives me a set of rules, but it feels different every time I play. And to me, the strategy of the way I engage in 4 Northwood changes every single time based on the different characters you have as your primary allies. Because it means every time I play it, I have the rule set, and I need to figure out how do I optimize based on these 4 abilities being present. And then I do love the scenario book as well about how they give you just rule changes. Like, oh, every time you win a trick, discard your top card. You're like, oh, how do you... I have to like, mentally reapproach the game. So I love the variety of it specifically. If it not for that, it would be much lower for me. But yeah. But it is surprising me that it's my top 10. Like, DEI feels more natural to me to be my top 10 the way I like games. 4 Northwood feels like it should be top 50, but top 10, like, I don't... Maybe it'll be the next year, maybe it won't. I don't know. But then outside of that, we have Ruhr continuing to climb, Castle Burgundy seeing a resurgence. That was, 2 years ago, like 27-ish a year ago, and then back up to 7 this year. We have
Burgundy. I don't know what it is. Like, get out of my brain. I don't know. Like, I try to have variety and play other things and whatever, and it's like, I don't know.
It holds
There's
up?
nothing like it. You know what I mean? Yeah, like it just hits a certain way where it's like you can try different kinds of... It's just such an optimization game. You know exactly what you're going to get. You know exactly the actions you're going to have and mostly what tiles are going to come out. And it's all just a balance of what you choose to go for and
Yeah. It's interesting. Then we have Terraforming Mars holding pretty steady at 3, Vindication at 2, and Cthulhu Let Me Die. Oh, I have to change it around. I forgot to change this.
Terraforming Mars.
My notes have Cthulhu Let Me Die and Vindication switched because I made that last minute switch in them.
Alex, did you know there's a different 4 Northwood?
No, there's the original print and play.
The
If that makes
Everdeck?
sense. It's great. Williams says other design. It's another design. It's not the same game. Different person.
Yeah, but still, did you
Yeah,
know
yeah.
there's another game from them?
I'll happily try it. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's still a late place for the expansion. Do you recommend getting all the big box expansions? So for DEI, I haven't played with any of the expansions, and I love it as is. So honestly, with that answer, I would say no, I don't recommend the expansions. Not because they're bad, but because I think the base game is plenty for right now, and save your money in the meantime until you feel the need to change that up.
Mm.
But yeah, that's what I have for my 2023 picks as far as overall. I think the things that surprised me, I think For Northwood is interesting. Paris, I love. Every time I play Paris, it's delightful, and that one doesn't surprise me at all.
Paris ranked in the past.
Paris what?
Where
In
has-
2022, it was number 16, which I'm only just seeing now, by the way. I
What
might
about
have
20? Oh, that was 2020.
2022 was the first time that I played it, so it was new to the year, into this last year. And just for context, I say this in my top 100. The way I rank things is I completely unrank my entire list. Before doing my top 100, I unrank everything in my collection, meaning I take everything off the list entirely, and I re-rank everything into buckets. So, if you were a 3.5, I just take it off, and I have no clue. Maybe you were, maybe you weren't. But I re-rank every single game in my collection once, and then I go through the top 100 rankings. Specifically because I don't want to be biased. I don't want to look at the list and be like, oh, Castle Burgundy was 2 last year, so it should be 3. No, if it should be 3, then it should be 3. Now, granted, it's not a perfect system, because usually the top 10 especially, I'll remember most of them. So, like, when I'm looking at the list, I do know that Too Many Bones and Arnak were really high last year. So am I putting them high because they deserve to, or is that bias there? So it's not perfect, but I try to remove as much of that mental clutter as possible. And Paris was 16 last year, 15 this year, so that just happened. I don't remember that. Brian asks, did games hit harder mid-year and fall off expected top 10? Seemed like Expeditions would be high in the list with how high you're on it. I think it fell mid-list. Expeditions is 19, which, first of all, for a game that's new to the list, jumping to 19, certainly not bad. I don't think...
No, Gloomhaven, but...
Gloomhaven dropped, yes, but that was early on.
No, but it showed up at, like, what number...
3 last year.
What number was it?
3 last year.
Yeah. So it
Yeah,
should...
my lists probably a good month before you see them on camera. There might be tweaks and adjustments, but like they're put together beforehand. Even last year, by the time I had it as my number 3 game, by the time I was filming saying it, I was already like, I don't know if it's my number 3. I was already starting to like phase out slowly. Gloomhaven was a very high climb, a very fast climb, and then it's still a great game. Like I want to emphasize, it's still a great game, but to me, it's dropped to a 4 to 5. From a 5 out of 5 to a 4 to 5, it's dropped, and 4 to 5s weren't in my top 100 at all. Still a great game, still enjoy it, still happy to play it, but it's just not there for me. But yeah.
Where did Oathsworn land for you this year?
Oathsworn this year, Oathsworn last year was 12, Oathsworn this year was 22. And I think that's primarily... it's hard, because someone, what's it called? Jenna mentioned in the chat recency bias, which is something I always caution people in the top 10s. I'm always like saying, hey, there's recency bias. I try to account for it to an extent, but I would say I try to account for it more in the upper tiers, meaning if something would have been like 88 in my top 100, and it's a new game that I've only played twice, I might just bump it out entirely. I might say, nope, you gotta get more plays, more time in it. Versus something like For Northwood, the fact that it was that high, I didn't try to like push it down slots for recency bias. I was like, nope, I like it this much, I don't care. So I guess the stronger I feel, the less I push back against it, versus if it's at the upper echelons, I'm like, I don't know, let's hold off. But what's interesting is, Everdell was 25 last year, and it was number 4 this year. Guess how many times I played Everdell this year?
None. 1?
That's actually a trick question.
5.
It's a trick question. I played Everdell
You played
Farshore a bunch of times. I played Everdell 0 times this year.
I
0
think,
times.
but you played My Little Everdell.
I played My Little Everdell, but that one's. I mean, My Little Everdell is good, but that doesn't elevate how I feel about Everdell.
In the world, though.
Everdell Farshore definitely was close enough to Everdell that it elevated for me. But Everdell itself, I played 0 times this past year, and it jumped from 25 to 4. And I do consider Everdell to be better than Farshore. I like Farshore a lot, but I consider Everdell to be the better one. So I guess, but it is tricky though, because maybe Farshore is the thing that kept it new for me. Maybe. I could see that. That is interesting.
Did you also rank Farshore?
No. So in general, what I did with my top 100 in general, and I don't think you saw it that much, and even Everdell, maybe I didn't talk about it as much, but I booked things into categories. So, for example, all the Zombicides, they got the number of the best Zombicide, and then I talked about the various ones that I actually care about and like. So I talked about how Undead or Alive, Black Plague, and Marvel Zombies are all top 100 material, but ultimately the ones I like the best are Black Plague and Marvel Zombies, and here's why. And similarly with Everdell and Everdell Farshore would probably be in the top 100. But it would be much lower down. It would be like in the, maybe around 50, 60, 70, somewhere like that. Versus Everdell is, high. But I bundle them together because I'm not putting 2 Everdells in my top 100. I don't feel the need to do that. Like, Too Many Bones and Too Many Bones Unbreakable and Too Many Bones Undertow. They all get 3 spots on top 100 because my name is BGG and I like doing that. I love BGG, but they are a little crazy. Can you see Farshaw replacing Big Box Everdell? So I can't, but I actually just recently had an interview with Jamie Stegmaier. In fact, that interview is actually going up later today at 4 o'clock today, 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, is an interview about Wormspan. And I think this was in the recorded part, because we talked before and after, so I'm not certain. But I think
Spoiler.
yeah,
NDA.
I think it was in the recorded part, but effectively we talked about how, I think I asked about expansions for Wormspan, if they're coming or whatnot, and he said they don't have any planned right now, and they'll take it as it comes, but there's a decent chance that if the game's well received, they'll get expansions. But he said he found it interesting. He said there are a lot of people who are like, they don't want expansions for Wormspan. They've already expressed, we don't want expansions, because Wingspan has a ton of expansions, and Wormspan, doesn't yet. We don't want to keep it like a base game. And he's like, he thought that was an interesting thing, and I was like, that's interesting. I was like, actually, no, I get that. Because that's how I feel about Everdell and Farshaw. I feel that Everdell has so many expansions, and one of the things I like about Farshaw is if I just want to play, if I don't want to deal with a big box, if I don't want to deal with trying to sort out this or that, I kind of like having a self-contained experience. But if they make expansions, I will get them. So I hope they don't, so as to not tempt me in that direction.
Well, and I would say also to Brian's point where he talks about shop space, Alex put Everdell on its top because of Everdell. Like he was saying, he hasn't really played it with a lot of the expansions and things like that, so he put it where it was based on the base game alone, right, Alex?
Well, based on the base game alone,
like
but
for people to play it and pick it up, they can grab just that and fall in love with it, and then only need to grab 1 or 2 expansions as they go. You don't. A game like that where they have a ton of expansions, you don't need everything, and especially not all at once.
See, now I'm curious. I think I have the answer. I just want to check. Now I'm curious, what's the highest ranked game in my top 100 that I haven't played at all? Not even like Farshaw. By the way, is Meg blipping for everyone else? And I don't even know if that's my end, your end. Every once in a while, your screen just goes black for a second.
Nice.
But let me see over here. If I go to games,
the lists are all in the top videos. So Alex has probably a playlist on this channel, the Board Game Code channel, where the list, the best way to see it is in the description. You'll see the timestamps, and it'll say the name, the number, our name, the number, and then the name of the game. So you do have to go through his different videos, like 10 through 1, 20 through 11, etc. But they're all there.
And I am working on trying to see if I can do more stuff publicly as far as all my rankings. I'm actually going through and consolidating all my rankings ever and putting them together. But either way, we'll figure it out. So the short answer is there might be a way at some point, and I'm working on it. I used to have it, and I used to have a public list, and it became messy to try to control. Now I'm trying to put this together again, and we'll see what happens. Yes, I see all the comments.
Meg is perfect.
Yes.
And when I saw that, Brian at first,
So,
I thought you were just saying that to be really nice.
Here's something that I'm genuinely shook on, because I looked at my top 10. I went through my top 10 games, whatever, my top whatever, and the first game, because going through whatever, Vindication I've played, Cthulhu I've played, Terraforming Mars I've played, Everdell played Farshaw, DEI I've played a bunch, Rurik I've played, Castle Burgundy, 4 Northwood, Inish, all of these I've played. The game that is the furthest down, the highest ranked game that I haven't played in a while is actually Coimbra at number 16. And I pulled up my stats, and unless I didn't log a play, which is possible, it does happen, but like still, I'm like shocked by this, but Coimbra is my number 16 game of all time. It was number 19 last year, so it's gone up, and I haven't played it since October 2020.
But it went up?
It's gone up.
How?
Oh well, I'll answer that in a second. So that's 2 years and like 3 months. 2 years and 3 months since being on my list. Is that right? 2021? Yeah. That is
so
a lot.
So you said 2020.
So wait, so 2020, October 2021 is 1 year, to 2022 is 2 years, 23, 3 years, 3 years. Yeah.
Yeah, 3 years and 3 months.
3 years. So I will happily play Coimbra at level up. So that's fascinating. So the answers to the how is because the list of my favorite games is not based off of, meaning if I play a game and if I play a game again and it goes up or down, that means my playing it affected my perceived enjoyment of it. But if I didn't play a game, that can also, the absence can make the heart grow fonder, and recency bias is also a factor. Meaning this is one of those constant dynamics in play. Like, it's a constant conversation that happens about the nature of, reviewer bias, for example. There's a regular question of, well, if you got the game for free, that affects your enjoyment. And you're like, well, actually, if you paid for the game, you're also mentally committed to justifying your purchase, so that affects your enjoyment. Meaning sometimes in life, you can't avoid external biases. There's biases whichever way you go. So for a game that I love, recent absence makes the heart grow fonder can absolutely be a thing. The fact that I haven't played Coimbra, and Coimbra to me is often the example I give of every game gets compared to Coimbra, and I'm like, do I love that as zero? I played Sankore recently, and the answer, the mental thought I had is, would I play it over Coimbra? I'm like, I'd play it along with Coimbra. Good for the thing. Whereas I played Alma Mater, which was a great game, and I was like, I would never pick this over Coimbra, so it's going, even though it's a great game. So, like, I do often compare games to Coimbra. I didn't realize how long it's been since I've played, which is fascinating to me. But it makes me want to play it. What's actually interesting is recently it was on the stack games to play with AP. It just didn't get tabled.
And, again, not to get into, like, the weird side topics, but just to talk about, like, what it is to be a content creator and the kind of stuff that you do and how many games you play and how many of them are new and the kind of coverage that you put out, Alex, on a daily basis. And a fact that, like, you have a game that is that high on your list and you haven't played it, it's not because you haven't had the time to play it. You have, but you've just had to play other games instead.
But it is shocking to me. Like, I realized I hadn't played it this year. I did not realize how long it's been. But that just makes me want to play it again. Honestly.
Yeah, that's the thing is we should be able to have more time for all the games.
Yes. Coimbra is so fun. Yeah.
I would play Terra Mars again.
I like what Nat said, which Nat says almost like reviewers are human beings with subjective experiences. I agree. Stacey says 100% bias, it can't be avoided. I agree. No matter what happens, bias is present. That's the thing. I don't try to ever convince people that there's no bias. I just try to convince you that the biases that people are worried about are not usually as strong as they are. And it's up to the reviewer not to not have bias, but to try to be mindful. And ultimately, you either get value from that content creator or not. It's that simple at the end of the day. But yeah, that is. This whole entire stream has just changed. Now I just want to play Coimbra. That's all I want to do now. Anyways,
I mean,
past that,
we're almost coming to a close.
We have Codenames, The Witcher, Expeditions, Unsettled. Yeah, so everything else in my top 20, just because that's what we're focusing on, because that's what we did together, everything else I've played in the past year. Again, Everdell is a tangent because I played Farshore. But the others I've all played in the past year, and Coimbra is just... It is a little surprising to me, but Srabmi says, I found Mega's bias towards good games. Yeah. But yeah, ultimately, yeah, it's so fascinating. I want to play Coimbra now. I am surprised that too many bones dropped. I'll say that. Oh, Jen is asking for Coimbra for level up too. So, okay. Well, it's going to level up.
Is Coimbra not in the level up library?
It's not, but I'll bring my own copy if I need to.
It should be.
I will happily play Coimbra at level up. I love that game so much. AP's gonna be at level up. He's gonna want to play it. Oh, it's so good. The only problem is it's best at 3, so I guess we'll just have to have like 7 games of it. But anyways, yeah, I
we'll have
think
multiple tables going all together.
Oh my gosh! Now the
like
real question
matches,
is: do I need to review the rules, or do I know it well enough? That's another question. I think
no,
I know it well enough. Don't review the rules. I could dive into a game of Coimbra in a heartbeat. The question is, could I teach it? I don't know that for sure.
At the end, he'll be like, "Oh, there's also this scoring mechanism I didn't tell anybody about, but also planned for myself."
That's why, just for the record, that is the difference between me being able to jump into a game versus teaching it. Because mentally, I'll remember that detail, but I'll forget to tell you. I'll be like, oh, I forgot to tell you how scoring works. I'm sorry. Let's get into that. Didn't that just happen with AP in a game?
I don't remember.
Yeah.
I did it to you, where I was like, there's no end game of scoring. And then we got to the end, and I was like, are you ready for the end game of scoring? I forgot. I looked at the book, and I was like, oh, no. These things are all worth points.
Jenna, I have played Alma Mater, and actually, I brought it up when I was talking about it. Coimbra is the game I compare every game to. Alma Mater, I thought, was an excellent game. That my opinion of it was a very, very good experience that took like 3.5 hours to play, versus Coimbra was a better experience that takes 1.5 hours, 2 hours to play. And so I didn't not like Alma Mater. I genuinely enjoyed it, but I was like, I would never pick this off. What I get out of the game time versus experience, I would never pick Alma Mater. Versus, for example, Sankore, I actually think is very similar in theme to Alma Mater. They're both about knowledge and books and teaching. And Sankore, I think, is about 1.5 hours, 2 hour experience that is a beast to teach. But once you know it, it's very, very well done. So Sankore, I highly recommend. That was a very one that surprised me. That was probably the most recent one. Sankore, I had as number 28 of all time. And while there were several games, like if I look at my top 30 games of all time, things that are new to the list, and this again, stuff like this we'll cover in the BG stats video when I do a comparison, but things that are new to the list are Sankore, A Feast for Odin, technically, although it's a caveat, because I think, did I put it last year? I didn't put it last year, but I think I said that I forgot it. I was like, I forgot, because I started playing it online before I got a copy or something. So, Sankore, Feast for Odin is new, Expeditions was new, For Northwood is new, and DEI. So in my top 30 games, I have 5 that are new to me. But from those 5, the other 4, For Northwood, DEI, Expeditions, and Feast of Odin, I've played those an absolute ton. Sankori is my least played, highest rated, most recent game in my top 100. And that one I do wonder about the recency bias aspect, but I also think it's very, very, very good. So that's the trade-off there. But yeah. Let's see.
I'm excited. I'm very excited to be playing some games that level up.
It's gonna be a lot. I mean, as usual, I'm not gonna play anything near what I expect to.
Non-stop.
But yeah, we have success talking about Ancient Knowledge. Halfway into the game, you can only have 10 cards in your hand. Oh, Ancient Knowledge, halfway into the game. Successful, more than that. I don't actually know if I'm... Okay, in Ancient Knowledge, I believe you could have more than 10 cards in your hand. It might be that you discard down to 10, and even then, I'm not certain. I kind of remember as like peripheral knowledge. That's also a game I haven't...
We played Creature Caravan at PAX Unplugged, and at first we were only going to play a few rounds, so we didn't know that we were going to play an entire game, but we loved it so much. So at first it didn't super matter, but I kept playing people, and then I think you can only play, what, 10 or 12?
I think it was 12, but it might have been 15. Definitely was not 10.
I think it was 12, and I think I had 11 out. That's when Ryan was like, you can only have 12. And I was like, oh, okay, great, this is manageable.
But yeah, it was like 2/3 into the game, and like Ryan's like, oh, by the way, I forgot to tell you this. You can only have 12 cards out, and we're like, that changes the entire.
But Alex only had like 6.
Yeah,
I had like 11 because
it
Alex
affected
was doing
Mag Wars. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no question. But again, and that's the design
Very
of the
good
game. It is very normal for every single human being ever to it's normal for every single human being ever to miss things, to not think of things, whatever. Yeah, Joey's mentioned, as much as you and AP mentioned Coimbra after Sankori, I want to check it out. Yeah, I am shocked that I've not played. I'm going to be messaging AP right now and finding out as soon as I can play Coimbra, because this is not a sustainable... This is a fixable problem. Now I see the next one. If I scroll through my top 100, the next one that I haven't played in a while, going after my top 20, Feast of Odin, Oathsworn. Oathsworn has been a while, but it might be just over a year. It might be like late 2022 when I played it last. El Grande I've played recently enough. Spirit Island I've played, Mind Management, Tax, Ancoria, Aquatica, The Loop, Skulls of Dune Imperium, Revive, Cascadia, Mythic Mischief, Bruges. Okay, at number 36 is going to be the next one. 36 Bruges, that's a game I haven't played in at least a year, maybe 2 years. But yeah.
I was going to say, looking through my list again, one that you had mentioned in the video was you forgot Emerald Flame in general.
Yeah, I did. And
I'm sure that would have been lower for you. But
I think it would have been the lower echelons of my top 100.
Yeah.
I like Emerald Flame, as similar to Mother Frankenstein and Unlock. I think for me, those experiences are somewhat tainted by the fact that almost inevitably in all of them, there are aspects of frustration. And that's an interesting conversation about games in general. Like, if you're playing Blood Rage and someone wipes out your units, does that feel like it's frustrating? And I don't think it is to me. Like, in Blood Rage, like, it's a minor being of like, oh, I lost the battle, but I don't feel frustrated by Blood Rage when I lose. Versus when I play Emerald Flame or an Unlock experience or Mother Frankenstein, any of those types of games, there are times when I love how good it is, but baked into the experience are moments of like, I don't know what to do next. I don't know what to do. I have no clue. Do I look up for hints? Do I not? Do I just keep pounding my head against the wall here? And so because of that, I both appreciate how good Emerald Flame is, but I think it taints the experience relative to other games in my top 100. And like this is something I've said this in general about games in general, where people who watch the channel a lot will know this, that consistently when a game starts to give me inconsistently good experiences, I get rid of it. I just do. And part of that's that same mindset where I don't want, if I'm looking at 3 games on the shelf and 2 of them are always fun, and one of them sometimes is this level of fun, but other times it's not fun, you're gone. I'm not going to sign up, but game time is so thing. Like, I don't think...
For me, getting stuck in a puzzle, I think I would prefer over being frustrated with someone doing something against me in a game.
Yeah. And again, I think I 100% agree. I just think it's a person-by-person type of situation. Like, for me, losing a competitive game, rarely do I find it frustrating. But I understand that for a million people, it can be more frustrating to feel like you're not getting progress. Like, there have been... Like, even, like, Blood Rage, there have been, like, I think there's, like, one game of Blood Rage one time where I was, like, making no progress. I was getting nothing done. And that was obviously less fun, but even then, I think that still, it was a better experience to me, personally, it's all personal, compared to an exit game or an unlock game where I just don't know what to do next. Yeah. But either way, it's person by person. Audio's cutting in and out. That's not great.
Well, on that note...
That's a shame. I need to figure out what to do with internet. Anyways, I'm either gonna reach out to them and just get them to up something, or I'm gonna cancel entirely because
Up something, you guys.
No, I'm gonna say, hey, I can't. You either up the internet or I'm gone. I cannot have this level of inconsistency. It is absolutely mind-numbingly annoying to me.
Mind-numbingly, you can't work with a numbed mind.
Yeah. I mean, my entire job is internet. I can't do that.
The job is internet. I'm on there.
Anyways, on that note, we are going to go ahead and call this top 100. Again, there will be a full stats video at some point because I want to do a proper breakdown and go through it all. But this is more of just a general engagement for those who want that kind of thing. But past that, Level Up Retreat is going to be February 2nd to February 4th. This is your last chance to, well, not last chance, you can keep buying, but in theory, you're getting close to the last chance of when you go ahead and buy tickets. We have a bunch of hot games that are very fun. We have a bunch of play-to-wins. We have a whole bunch of people, and just a library of, like, a lot of games to be able to play through and all that stuff. But
and there's an indoor swimming pool.
Are you sure about that? It's a different hotel than last year.
I'm sure about it. I looked it up.
I have no idea.
I'm not sure if there's a hot tub, but I know there's a pool.
Good to know. I will not be in the pool. I will be playing games.
No.
Yeah.
I'm going to play 20 strong.
In the pool. Good luck with that.
Thank you.
Anyways, that's basically it. Until next time, everyone, thank you so much for hanging out. We will see you shortly, and have a good one.
Bye, guys.